Today on the show, we catch up with one of South Africa's funniest comedians, Nik Rabinowitz, who chats to us about how all parents need a safe space during lockdown, and sometimes that safe place can even be your very own toilet. Let's take a look.
Hello, people, friends, countrymen, and others. I'm Nik Rabinowitz. Welcome to my Toilet Diaries, where I discuss life in a pandemic, and I do that in the comfort of my own toilet, because sometimes you need a safe space to go, especially as a parent. You need somewhere where you can self-isolate, even if you haven't traveled anywhere and have no symptoms and have not come into contact with a positive person, but you do need to get away from your kids. This is where you need to be, just to think and share your thoughts. Welcome to the Toilet Diaries.
Oh my goodness, Nik, welcome back to the loft.
Thanks.
Are you feeling a little awkward?
It does feel a bit weird, doesn't it?
But we love that. We love your candor. You're so candid and you truly are yourself, even in your most vulnerable of situations. How has lockdown treated you?
I was having some desperate moments. I've got to be honest with you. I was near the end of my parental tether. And of course, I'd also just got a promotion because I'd lost my old job, and then I got promoted to a deputy substitute teacher at home and school principal, and that was even more stressful.
I think a lot of South Africans right now are like, is that a promotion or what? Because the amount of stress that comes along with that job title is just so big, you know. So how have you found it through lockdown, and how have you managed to keep these 3 kids educated?
Well, I think only one sort of had some formal education. The baby, I don't know what the hell, she's gone feral, and the middle one has read every Harry Potter book about 4 times.
You've got 3 young kids, and the last time you were on the show, you were telling us about how you've had to explain the birds and the bees to them. So how have you explained Korona to them?
Well, they had to do some PowerPoint presentation on it at some point, so I think they actually know more than I do. But for the 3-year-old, it's been tricky because it's difficult to explain to a 3-year-old why her best friend is with his granny next door. Like, we literally looked over the wall at her best friend, and she couldn't quite get why she wasn't allowed to go and play. So I think that was hard to explain. Hard to explain why your granny's behind the gate and you can't go and give her a hug. And that was literally the day before my mom had an armed robbery and then had to move in with us for 3 days. And they were like, but yesterday you said you can't hug Nana. Why are you hugging her now? She's traumatized.
That seems like such a huge jump, though, as a parent. I mean, how quickly do you need to be able to adapt, change the language within you communications with the children and make it work? And make sure that they also don't run away with their own understanding of what's happening.
We had to really sort of, as parents, also manage our own anxiety so that our kids, you know, you don't want to lie to them, but you also don't want them to sort of panic and be living in anxiety themselves. So I think it's taken a lot of sort of managing of one's own conversations and anxieties and emotional states, because we've all been on an emotional roller coaster, and we've had to find ways, whether it's been meditation or prayer or communication or just self-isolating in the toilet.
Yeah. And speaking about self-isolating in the toilet, I mean, you started an online conversation called Toilet Diaries. I mean, can you tell us a little bit more about that?
It was me at times ranting and at times talking about what was going on in the world or what was going on with my kids that day. And looking back, I think it's going to be one of those time capsule type of things where, like, in 5 years, I look back in and go, what the hell was going on there?
You also have your Instagram live videos called Wake Up and Smell the Coffee. Please tell us about that.
Well, that was also like diving into, you can like live stream things and let's have conversations with people and help help all of us. Help me, help you, help me. That's something I saw another comedian doing. And it was kind of a way of waking up early in the morning with my kids, showing people kind of real. This is what's real. This is what we're dealing with. This is what parents are dealing with. I'd have a screaming child sometimes. I'd have to tell my guest, hold on, Sophie wants the big spoon, not the small spoon, or she didn't get the correct color teat on the bottle or something. So it was just all chaotic, and I think people appreciated that. And it kind of, for some people, was like, I'm not on my own. I'm dealing with the same thing. And it was kind of like a backstage, if you will, a kind of backstage into my life.
But talking about getting a backstage pass into all things Nik, I just want to have a little bit of a view as to where are you, Nik? There's a white background, but I feel like, are you working? Uyasebenza lapho, boy?
Well, I actually came in for I'm shooting a little ad, and we need to age me, because the premise for the ad is my future self talking to my current self in lockdown. So I've come in for to get my, these guys do sort of like whole body scanning, so they can 3D print and then create prosthetic. So this is basically their little setup here, where they were scanning my head with various cameras, and then and there's like weird people that I'm hanging out with here. I don't know what this guy's problem is. He looks
Whoa, that's so scary! Nik!
This is probably the wig they're gonna use for my future self. I'm not sure. And then also, funnily enough, I got to hang out with Riyad Musa, who I haven't seen since before lockdown. But he's actually, this is apparently Riyad from Long Walk to Freedom, which was shot a number of years ago. Hi, Riyad. How are you? So he's currently meditating. And then there's all sorts of crazy, they make like aliens and all sorts of crazy stuff. Look at all this interesting facial hair and
Nik,
stuff.
I'm so sure so many South Africans right now want to be exactly where you are. Talk about a trip into the future. That's so much
look
fun.
Look at these aliens over here. Look at this.
Oh, so those are the aliens that everyone's kind of shook around right now. So, Nik, then what happens with all of these prosthetics and prostheses when they come together? I mean, what can we expect to see?
Oh, you can just expect to see what I look like when I'm 70.
But talking about your future self that, you know, is post-lockdown, post-COVID-19, and has made it on the other end of all the chaos happening right now in 2020. What do you want that future self to say to current self, or rather a message to the people right now about hope and about looking forward?
I kept saying, you know, we're going to look back. What are we going to remember? We're going to remember, hey, we were resilient. We had a lot to deal with. We had a lot of emotions, a lot of negative emotions. We had a lot of uncertainty. We had more uncertainty than we've had maybe in our entire lifetimes. We didn't know what this thing was, or how long it would last, or what the reasons were, or any of that. And somehow we managed to generate courage and resilience and compassion for our fellow human beings. Maybe we allowed ourselves to return to some of our core principles as Africans. Maybe we let Ubuntu shine in a way that it hasn't for a long time. We started becoming conscious of all sorts of other issues that came up at the same time. Black Lives Matter. White people, we had to deal with some uncomfortable feelings. We had to realize, hey, we've been blanketed in our privilege, and we had to relook at that, and we had to find new ways of relating to people and discovering new ways to do business and the internet and all of these crazy things. And somehow we have evolved as human beings collectively. That's what I would like to see.
Thank you, Nik, for not only bringing the comedy to South Africans, but letting us into your home, let us get to know your family, and of course, bringing smiles on the rest of our faces. We appreciate you, Nik.
Thank you. I'm not sure my family would agree, but maybe they would.
One of the incredible South African comedians that keep us smiling time and time again, whether it's letting us into his household or, of course, showing us behind the scenes of all of his work. Thank you so much, Nik. We appreciate you. South Africa salutes you.